Hello friends, and welcome back. Out on what may be the last paddling trip of the year. I'm out to do a little bit of backcountry hunting. I'm going to meet up with some friends in the next few days that are coming in to join me. I have a ton of stuff in my canoe because the weather is all over the place in the next few days. So I wanted to be prepared for a week or more out here. So I've got the hot tent and wood stove and all kinds of gear. Right now I have about 10 kilometers to paddle across this lake, and then hopefully it's just one portage into a lake that if no one's on it, that's where I'm going to set up camp. If someone happens to be camped there already, I have to make other plans. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to get there. Well, that's a first. I don't think I have ever quadruple carried a portage. So that's how much gear I've got here. I'm hoping that in the end it's worth it for bringing all this stuff. I brought way too much gear, I think. Holy cow, that's a lot of stuff. So tomorrow and the next day, the forecast was calling for an absolute ton of rain. My plan was to turn this into a roof for my tent. Tie this over the top, tie it down, cut a hole out for the stove hole, reinforce it with duct tape. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, I know, but if we get some torrential rain tomorrow, maybe I'll stay a little bit drier and still be able to have a fire. I don't know. Morning, sunshine. Just getting things rolling here. Stayed in bed a little later because I had a horrible night last night. But, couldn't sleep. That tarp was just flapping around like crazy, so I got up in the night and I had to cut it down. It blew the stovepipe right over. It was just so windy, but it's hard to tell right now because it's just so much quieter. But in the night, it was so loud in here, just that thing just snapping in the breeze over and over and over again. So I'm gonna get a quick breakfast in and then take my pack and go explore the hills, I think. This is a good sign here. I'm not more than a couple hundred yards from camp, and I already found a little pile of deer droppings. So they are coming right into this area. I've walked maybe a kilometer or so from camp, and all around the lake is mostly balsam. And as you come up these ridges here, you get into a lot of maple and a little bit of oak. This big ridge running across here behind me, and then just over to my left there's a natural corridor, just kind of a little gut through the ridge, a little opening. And there's a deer trail running down by the lake. There's another one coming up here, and there's another one running across the other way at the bottom of this other ridge. So I've got quite a bit of activity. There's a lot of droppings and whatnot. Rain's picking up again, so I've taken what shelter I can underneath this big balsam tree. I'll sit here for a bit and just watch. My mind wanders to trips I've been on and other trips I'd like to do. I had the chance this year to go with my dad and my uncle Bruce and my cousin David. We flew out of the little town of Nakina in northwestern Ontario. Flew about 200 kilometers on a little bush plane back into a really remote cabin, and spent a week, just the four of us, just fishing. Mostly walleye, but there was some pike as well. First cast! First cast! But we had just an awesome time. It was something we've talked about doing for years. And this past winter, Bruce decided that he just wanted to do it. And so he called us all and said we're going. And he had already booked it. We ate a ton of fish, caught some beautiful walleye, and some decent sized pike. Not only was there nobody within more than 50 kilometers of us, but there's no roads anywhere in that area. So it's just untouched. And then you see it from the air and you realize the extent of the woods and the water in this country. Anyways, I'm just sitting here waiting for a deer and just reminiscing about that time. That was a great little adventure. You know, they say it's one of life's injustices that you don't get to choose your own relatives. think I did alright. I'm pretty happy with the ones I have. Well, there's a little bit of daylight still left, but I came back to the tent because I was just getting absolutely soaked. It's raining pretty good right now. So I've got all my gear, and what I can anyway, strung up to dry, and threw a bit of fresh wood in the stove to warm it up. And it's honestly a bit too warm in here, but warm and wet is much better than wet and cold. Got one layer dried out and the second hung up to dry, and as I'm drying my gear, I think I'm gonna make some dinner. And there we go. This was one of my favorites that Tyler made, beef chili mac and cheese. So, simple and very hearty. So cheesy.
I don't think I had rain like that all summer. And we're straight into the ground. Oh man, it's so nice to just finally be here.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna slip out of this.
Just let me slip into something more comfortable.
Maybe I put a bit too much water in it.
Maybe a little bit, but it's actually really good like that.
Yeah, it's a
Rain
chili
audio.
style.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to be patient because I'm just gonna ruin it for myself. Oh my god.
You'd never know it was freeze, or like,
No.
that wasn't fresh food, eh?
Yep. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised-
The chili and the macaroni is such a good combo.
Yeah, the macaroni, like I was expecting the macaroni to be a bit mushy, but it's like actually kind of al dente or whatever.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah. Especially on like just a wet, rainy night.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Put the big tarp to good use. Make a little shelter, and of course, as soon as we get it up, the rain stopped. That's the last rain we're gonna see all week.
Yeah. If that's the price to pay, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Pretty thirsty right now. No, it's done.
I missed it. Ben shared a nice little piece of his steak this morning. That's delicious. Got a little bit of rain rolling in and out, so we're kind of taking our time getting camp a little more established and have a nice little breakfast. But we've got hills to explore. So that turned into a very leisurely morning in camp today. We strung up that big tarp and had a little more breakfast. And Ben and I haven't hung out much for the last few months. Haven't really talked a whole lot. Both been out doing our own thing, so it's nice to catch up and hang out and just chat a bit, which we didn't get to do too much of last night. But now we're gonna split up, and I think he's gonna take his canoe and head across the lake, and I'm gonna head back up this ridge. Looks like we're in for off and on drizzle all day today. But it's going to be a day of walk and sit, kind of explore again. One of my favorite things to do. Been hiking around a little bit, exploring, and I found there's a natural draw here between this. There's a ridge running behind me, and I'm kind of sitting on top of it. There's a bit of a saddle through here where it's a natural funnel, and there's some deer sign here. There's some faint trail and a bit of dropping, but then the trail I was on saw yesterday runs down the hill and intersects this one. So kind of got both avenues covered. So the wind's now coming right out of the south, which is kind of in my favor. South or west works for this spot. But I was sitting here looking around my binos, and all of a sudden it's like they fogged up. But the binos didn't fog up. It's like the whole world fogged up. All of a sudden I went from a couple hundred meters of visibility to 10. There's 3 boar bears just down the hill. 4 bears. It's a sow and 3 cubs. Come on, bear. Yeah, they had no idea I was here. That was pretty cool. It's not what we were looking for. Not what I was expecting, but very cool to see nonetheless. They're all very plump and fat looking. Getting ready to hibernate, I guess. I got back to camp just in time, because that's just pouring now. That's so much rain in 2 days. This is wild.
Alright, that one's getting burnt whole.
So we picked up a bit of firewood, and while we were wandering around, Ben came across a set of jawbones laying out there. And then we poked around a little more, and we found that. So that to me looks like a buck skull, like a good sized male deer. You can see where the antlers had shed. So my guess is it probably died sometime over the winter last year, between shedding its antlers and before it started to grow new ones in the spring. But up the hill there was all kinds of bones and whatever, so maybe a winter kill, maybe wolves, hard to say, but kind of a cool find. So there was definitely at least one deer in the area at some point.
At one point.
Yeah. That was quite a night. Holy cow. Rain finally stopped. I don't know what time, but just poured rain. And then it stopped, and the wind has just been howling. The tarp we had set up outside got torn to pieces, ripped it down. I had to go cut it down at about 3 in the morning. I was up to go tear it down because it was just held on by one strand left and just flapping like crazy in the wind. But it seems like it's a little calmed down now. The woods are so much quieter today. After 3 days of almost non-stop rain. I've got a decent view from here. I'm looking over the edge of this cliff, and there's a bit of a flat spot, and there's a deer trail running between the cliff and the lake down below me. The trail forks just up ahead. So one goes down along the lake and one comes up this little saddle behind me and goes up the ridge. So there's tracks, there's scat. Just haven't seen a deer yet. Squirrels and grouse and all kinds of birds, but nothing else. One thing with that crazy wind yesterday was that it knocked all the water out of the trees. We had so much rain, everything was just constantly dripping, and then it was so windy last night. It dried everything out, blew everything down. So the woods are quite quiet today. Other than the squirrels. I decided to move a little bit to a different spot away from the squirrels. They were just going nuts. I had 3 of them within about 10 feet of me, all going crazy. So I'm on another hillside looking down into this little draw that's kind of a natural funnel going east-west here. Nothing but squirrels so far this morning. A few birds, woodpeckers. Pretty quiet. I like the spot I was in. I feel like it's a decent spot to be. So I'm going to scout around a little more. Go back to camp and see if Tyler's made it in yet. And then figure out a plan for this afternoon. Deer droppings and bear scat up here. So What's going on? How are you? Yeah, nice little setup you got. Good thing you didn't try this last night.
Yeah.
You would have drowned.
Yeah. It's definitely quartzite here.
Very much. Well, there's something we haven't seen for a few days. He's got a fire going and make a little lunch, but the sun is out. That makes me very happy. Nice to see that again.
Had oatmeal for lunch before, but that handle is very good.
Came back to the spot I was before lunch. I feel like I've got a good vantage here. I kind of like the view. Looking down off this hill through the hemlocks, and I've got that saddle to my right. There. Coming back through again. Not far from where I saw those bears yesterday. That's one angry blue jay. Having another beef stew from Tyler. Came out of the freezer into the freeze dryer.
Oh, it's looking good. I can't see it. I've got too much smoke in my eyes.
Why did you sit over there?
I was trying to. I wanted to put my feet real close to the fire, but I'm not even close.
Mm. Did you try the beef?
Not yet.
Oh, so good.
It rehydrates really well for how big it is.
Yep.
Sorry for the bright lights. Actually, I don't think I need to have a bright.
Oh man. Oh my god. Look at that.
You never know. I know I keep saying that, but
No. Yeah, you could still literally just put that in on a plate at home and you'd never have a clue that it came out of the freeze dryer.
yep.
So good.
Beef stew for dinner.
Looks like we slept in a little bit today. Spent a long time sitting around the fire last night. And staying up much later than normal. And I guess everybody slept in. I forgot to set an alarm. So, time to have some breakfast and
I don't think I'm gonna sit this morning. I think I'm gonna go somewhere and try to scout. Try to figure out.
Yeah, like to go and walk and explore.
Yeah.
But if you find a good spot,
Yeah.
then
I'm just gonna like
park
make some
yourself
like
there.
GPS pins and.
Yeah, it is a tough way to hunt when you don't know the territory though.
I sat for long.
Don't know where to go. Spent a little time just hanging out at the fire, but just getting packed up to leave, and now the fog is rolling back in and visibility is starting to shrink. What was beautiful blue sky less than half an hour ago is now just white. So we're all heading out in different directions. Gonna go try and find somewhere to sit. So far it's only the chickadees that are moving. Heading in a different direction this morning. Kind of the opposite of what I've been doing the last few days. Just got a itch to see a different piece of bush. I know it probably looks like a lot of the other stuff around here, but how do you know until you go check? The sun's just trying to poke through that mist and burn it off. Man, what an absolutely beautiful day. Squirrels are back. No sight of any deer yet, but I don't know. I just feel good. Very happy. Out here with some friends and doing some of the things that I love to do. Just makes me feel happy. Just to take in the view a little bit. Just found a bit more deer scat, a bit more wolf scat, but still no deer. Wind this morning is coming out of our northwest, so this side of the ridge is quite a bit colder than the other. The other side being the south side being in the sun right now. We got that beautiful sun behind us. Tyler came through and made us some of this Wagyu beef jerky. He smoked at home and brought Ben and I a bit of it. It's awesome. It's a pretty tough life there. Hiked a little farther down the ridge and I found what looks like a fantastic spot. I think this is my best bet to sit for a little while and just watch. Trying to make my spot as comfortable as I can, and then I can just camp out here for a little while and watch this valley. See what happens. up some of this early morning sun. Just came over the ridge. It's a beautiful morning, but quite quiet in terms of deer activity. I heard one shot not long ago, but I thought it might have been Tyler, but it wasn't. It's a beautiful morning to be in the woods. I think that wraps up another day. I think we're going to call it quits for today again. Pretty much out of shooting light now, so. Another day done. Hopefully the other guys had any better luck than I did.
It's like drafting on the other side of the pit.
My goodness. Wow.
Pretty good, eh?
Oh. Oh, that's amazing. I feel like it's like a little bit unfair that you guys are getting me to test out all this food on just like cold days where I'm walking like 10K. Come back to camp, it's like, test out this hot meal. Let me know how you like it.
I mean, I feel like that's a valid test subject.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, it's seriously like, even on just like a regular night at home, like any one of these would be amazing still.
It's the quietest, calmest morning we've had since we got here. Beautiful still lake. And we're getting packed up. So, forecast is calling for another big storm rolling in tomorrow. So we've decided we're gonna pack up our campsite and start working our way back. We'll probably hunt our way back a little bit. And yeah, I really relish packing up in the pouring rain tomorrow. And it's supposed to start light rain in the morning and then very heavy by afternoon.
It's so hard to complain about it.
Yeah. I do not care.
I'm going to be able to make it in 3 trips. This portage seems a lot shorter going this way. It's a lot more downhill. It's a lot more downhill this direction.
I just like slid down half of it.
Thanks, Ben, for bringing my backpack.
Quite the day.
Yeah.
Just making our way back to the takeout now. We've seen a bunch of other hunters. Some have said the same. They haven't seen many deer, and others have seen plenty. So it's the way it goes. But it's been a great week out here. All the ups and downs with the weather, and I've really fallen in love with backcountry hunting. Growing up, most of my family all hunted. I grew up in that environment, but it was never anything like this. Never, back in the woods and paddle and portage or hike back in. This will definitely be just one of many trips I want to do like this. So, thanks to Ben and Tyler for making us a great time. It's a lot of fun out here with those guys. Thanks for coming along, folks. We'll see you on the next one.